Hello and welcome to Experiences and Perspectives, the podcast where we explore and reflect on how to live a healthy, joyous, and creative life. I'm your host Siddharth Srivastav, and our today's topic is mind body connection. Mind body connection. First, let's define what I mean by the term mind body connection. It refers to the idea that our thoughts and emotions can impact our physical health and vice versa. This connection is complex and multi-faced, with many factors influencing the relationship between the mind and the body. So, the question arises, why is understanding the mind body connection important? For one, it can help us better understand how our thoughts and emotions can impact our physical health and well being. For example, many studies have shown that stress and negative emotions can have a negative impact on our physical health. Like stress causes, uh, taking a lot of stress leads to sometimes sugar or high blood pressure. It has been proved through medical studies. And also, positive emotions and the sense of well-being can have a positive impact on our physical health. The one who is always positive, who has a positive attitude towards everything he faces in the life, he has a more healthy body and more well-being. By understanding this connection, we can take steps to manage our thoughts and emotions in a way that promotes physical health and well-being. So, being positive is really important. Many physical health conditions have a psychological component, and understanding this component can be helpful in managing this condition. The mind body connection is helpful in understanding those conditions. For example, the stress and anxiety, which I mentioned earlier, can lead to physical health conditions such as heart diseases, high blood pressure, and sometimes sugar as well. And addressing these psychological factors can be an important part of managing these conditions. So, how can we cultivate a healthy mind-body connections? That's a really important thing because we need to manage our emotions. We need to convert or divert our mind from thinking negative to thinking positive. Then only there would be a balanced mind-body connection, which we desire to be in a perfect state of health and well-being. So the first thing I would like to have as a tip is practicing mindfulness. By paying attention to our thoughts and emotions, we can better understand their impact on our physical health and take steps to manage them. Practicing mindfulness and paying attention to our thoughts. It's like every emotion has an importance. Either it is a positive emotion or a negative emotion. It has its importance in itself, and we need to give it the attention it requires. So instead of accumulating or controlling those emotions, like accumulating anger or sadness in the form of stress in our mind and not taking care of it, often leads to the above mentioned problems like a heart disease, cause stress and anxiety is the major cause of that. And stress occurs when we begin to accumulate the negative emotions in our mind, like the anger, specifically anger and sadness. We uh, we feel anger because anger is something which every other emotion which is negative leads to anger, and anger is something we think that it must be controlled. We should never express our anger because it is a bad thing. But yeah, it is a bad thing, but it need to be felt. It must not be just ignored and By ignoring it, it would get accumulated in our mind because we didn't give the attention it required. We got angry, but we stayed quiet. Yeah, we need to stay quiet at the moment depending upon the situation, but later on we could express those emotions because anger is something we try. It is a way to express something. We get angry, we either speak out loud, we shout, or either we get into violence. But we just need to express ourselves. That's the body demands. That's the emotion. Giving the attention to the emotion actually means. So, better write those things down or speak those things to yourself or someone who you trust. And the best thing, you can either do journaling, which I've been talking a lot about in the previous episode as well, which was based on journaling only. So journaling is something which could help in practicing mindfulness. We could give the attention to our thoughts and emotions and reduce their negative impacts on us. So that was the first point I would like to say. The second point I think is engaging in activities that promote physical and emotional well-being. These include exercises, eating healthy, having a healthy diet, engaging in activities that bring joy and relaxation to your mind. These could be the things like any good hobby, like reading book or doing workout at a particular time every day, or just riding bicycle every day, or playing a musical instrument, because musical instruments they give peace and they bring joy and relaxation to ourselves. Musical instruments have a really great impact on us. Doing different things like practicing any hobby or doing exercises or having playing a musical instrument, these releases happy hormones in our body and brings joy to us. And when we feel joy, that joy gives us happiness, and the positive in us get embraced and we feel more calmer, and the body gets connected to our mind, and it helps a lot. Okay, and now I should move to the third point, which I think is seek support when needed. A lot of times we need help, but we don't ask for help. We think that asking for help would make ourselves smaller or inferior to the other person. But it doesn't work like that. If we are in a problem, we are unable to solve it by our own. That happens sometimes, so we can ask for help. We should ask for help, but we need to be careful about that. We should ask to the person who we trust and who we are sure that he or she could definitely help us and or would try his or her best to help us get out of this situation. And because seeking support is good for ourselves, and the person who would help us, he would also be empowered because he's helping you. He would feel great to help you, and you would definitely be benefited. So seeking support is something very important in this thing, I think, for dealing physical condition as well, or dealing with emotional conditions. Like as I said in the first point, we need to express and give that attention to the emotion give attention to the emotion they require, so we can express them to a friend or someone who we trust, and he would maybe he could advise you something, or maybe he won't, but he's there to listen to you, and he definitely could do something that would make you feel better and cause an impact on you, a positive impact. So that would be the third point. Now I guess the fourth point would be practice self-care. That is a very important point. Practicing self-care is like, yeah, practicing self-care would comprise of, I guess, the above 3 points as well. Specifically, the first point and second point, engaging in activities that promote joy and relaxation and practicing mindfulness. These two comprise in the self-care thing, because self-care is just about actually giving ourselves the care which we try to give to others and which we expect from others. Self-care and caring for others, it is just a quite similar thing. We expect others to care for us while we ourselves are not caring for us at all, which need to be addressed. So practicing self-care would be a great thing to bring the mind-body connection in place. Okay, that would be a great thing for that. The next point I would say is explore the connection between your thoughts and emotions. Yeah, this is something very important as well, and similar to the first point, practicing mindfulness, it is exploring our thoughts. We need to, when we get one thought at the positive or negative, we just try to feel that we need to feel that emotion. Along with that, we need to think about other similar emotions which are growing in our mind as well, because one emotion leads to other emotion, and when we need to control each one of them, we need to address each one of them, and to address them, we need to explore the connections between those thoughts and the emotions, because every emotion arrived due to a particular action or activity which happened by us or around us, or any thought which came to our mind which led to that emotion. That happens. That's how emotions arise in our mind. So we need to explore the connections between thoughts and emotions. Which thoughts lead to which type of emotion? And when we would begin to explore these things, we would begin to learn what about these connections, and we could be able to better solve these things and maintain a balanced connection between our thoughts and emotions and make it more positive rather than being it negative. So I guess these are the points I think are very important, and some of the things to cultivate a healthy mind-body connection. So understanding the mind-body connection can also be very helpful for can also help us to be more mindful and live in the present self. By paying attention to our thoughts and emotions and their impact on our physical health, we can be more aware of our own inner experience and more attuned to the present moment. Overall, the mind-body connection is an important aspect of our overall well-being. By cultivating a healthy mind-body connection, we can better manage our thoughts and emotions, improve our physical health, and become more mindful and present in our lives. I guess this was an interesting thing which I talked about, the mind-body connection. And I feel like there is much more that could be added in it, but I would stop right here because these are short episodes. I feel like talking for just 15 to 20 minutes, and I've crossed the 15 minutes mark just now. So I would end it here. I would like to talk about these things later on in much more detail, because these are really important topics to understand and learn about. So okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Till then, stay sane and keep exploring. Bye bye.